And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome, everyone. I'm National Weather Service meteorologist Peter Chan. This is Alaska Weather, and I'm coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. And here are some of the weather-related headlines from across the state of Alaska. We still have this persistent low-pressure circulation over a broad area of the North Pacific and Gulf. This is keeping unstable weather along the Gulf Coast and into the Panhandle. And we're seeing advisory snows push in through Turnagain Pass, Whittier, Portage Valley, all the way to areas around Girdwood. Additional snowfall expected tonight into Thursday morning. Farther west, there's some very cold air up over the Chukchi Sea, Bering Strait, and that is going to begin to head south later Thursday night and during the day on Friday, crossing the Bering Sea, all the way passing through the Aleutians, and that's going to help spin up a larger low-pressure area over the Alaska Peninsula early in the weekend, which will have impacts across much of the especially southern half of the state as we get into Saturday and Sunday. In the meantime, though, the cold air up there along the Chukchi Sea coast at Kivalina, sunny and cold. Their temperature, even at mid-afternoon, 6 below zero, despite the bright and more radiant April sunshine. Whittier, overcast, 40 degrees. There have been some periods of snow that may be mixed with a little rain. There'll be another round of some snow moving in there, wet snow that'll be pushing through Turnagain Arm and could put some heavier snowfall, especially in places like Turnagain Pass. So we have the winter weather advisory that is in effect through Thursday morning for this area of western Prince William Sound into Turnagain Arm. Snowfall totals could be as high as 6 to 10 inches total. That's what has fallen today and then what is coming tonight as well. And this could include areas around and above Girdwood, Turnagain Pass, Portage Glacier, Whittier. So expect some more snow pulling and backing up into that area for tonight. We've had some gusty northwest winds try to resuspend the volcanic ash there from Nova Rupta from 1912 into Kodiak Island. Those winds are going to be coming down early this evening, so that'll be less of an issue. Also, there have been some snow showers causing some minor accumulations along with some blowing snow up here in Denali Park and Healy. That also should be relaxing a bit tonight. Then further north, Fairbanks Forecast Office put out a special weather statement. The area, say Bettles, Coldfoot, up along the Dalton Highway there, heading up toward Anatuvik Pass, could pick up several inches of snow now through Saturday. There's kind of been a persistent area of light to occasionally moderate snow with snow shower enhancement. You know, get that enhancement with the daytime heating. This has all just been kind of sitting over this region, and we've had just one after another weaker low pressure kind of rotate on in and then just kind of lift upward and reinforce trough there across the interior. But more importantly, we're going to have the cold air come south out of this region, the Chukchi Sea and Bering Strait, eastern Russia, and that's going to pivot and dive southward and actually cross the Aleutians by Saturday morning. And that's going to help spin up a stronger, broader low-pressure system over the Alaska Peninsula by Saturday afternoon. Another thing we have to be concerned about being springtime, and then when you have moisture coming in off the Gulf in the form of either lower elevation rain with some mid and upper level snow, that increases the avalanche danger. Right now there is considerable avalanche danger around Turnagain Pass as well as Moose Pass in the eastern Kenai, and then also areas above Valdez over toward Thompson Pass. And again, if you're planning any type of backcountry snow machining or skiing, be extra cautious. We've already had fatalities this year in these regions. And again, it's just the snow with that additional load coming on top of it with the precipitation makes for more unstable conditions, especially on those steeper slopes that are greater than 25-30 degrees. So be exceptionally careful and try to avoid those steeper slopes. Now, areas of the Gulf continue to see moisture come on up, and here we have an area right now that'll be turning into Prince William Sound and Turnagain arm. So as a result, we expect that snow to increase again tonight in the area with the advisory. Notice too that moisture just streams northward up into the interior, and that's why around the Alaska range there have been snow showers and some reduced visibility, and also extending up all the way northwest of Fairbanks up through the Brooks Range and North Slope. As we go further west, this is the cold air. There is a mid-level low. That cold air is sitting over this region, waiting for a couple of other disturbances to come in off the East Asian continent from eastern Russia. And as that drops southeastward across the Bering on Thursday, that's going to begin to pull down that cold air Thursday night and especially on Friday. And here are the surface weather maps. We continue to have a broader circulation in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, and then these are the surface lows just kind of pivoting around that. We have another low that'll lift up out in the North Pacific toward Haida Gwaii on Thursday, so that'll pull some more precipitation up into the especially southern half of the Panhandle. Meanwhile, tonight we're waiting for that little trough to rotate through into the eastern Kenai, west side of Prince William Sound, producing additional areas of accumulating snow. And then here's that hint of that next system crossing into the Bering, heading southeastward. On Thursday afternoon, we expect, again, that low pivoting up here into near Haida Gwaii with additional precipitation all along the British Columbia coast up into the Panhandle. And then this low persistent here along the eastern Kenai, keeping the precipitation going mainly in the form of some snow, especially in the mid and upper elevations of the coastal mountains, because this is just kind of the right setup for that. And then over here we have another little low dropping southeastward that's going to pull down even colder air out of the Bering Strait. And by Friday, the initial leading edge of that cold front will be knocking on the door of the Aleutians by Friday afternoon, and then the core of that cold air that's back through here is going to pivot down across the Aleutians by the time we get into Saturday. Meanwhile, still just kind of this lagging trough of low pressure along the Gulf Coast, outer Panhandle, and then in the interior. With this time of year, you tend to get scattered snow showers or snow and rain showers mixed all across areas of northwest and western Canada, extending back into areas of the interior. And then on Saturday, here's where this system gets going. So we have that low that's come up out of the North Pacific linking up with this colder air coming southeastward, and that's perfect ingredients to intensify a low pressure system. It's going to have an occluded front that pushes northeastward up along the Gulf Coast and eventually into the Panhandle. By the time we get in Saturday night, Sunday, we'll find more precipitation, primarily rain along the coast, but the intercoastal mountains will see some periods of moderate to heavier snow, especially at mid and upper elevations, and some of that moisture will stream further north and be transported into the interior. So areas of the interior that have already had a snowy winter could pick up additional snowfall. And it looks like this pattern will continue past mid-month. No signs of any drier, warmer weather on the way for anybody anytime soon. Quick check of temperatures tonight. Again, coldest readings out here across the Chukchi Sea coast, Seward Peninsula. Selawik this Wednesday morning was down to 24 below zero for the state's coldest temperature. And again, there could be some readings around here that get locally down to 20 below. We're going to see temperatures slip below freezing here in south central, so there could be icy spots, especially where roads are wet or you get a little more additional snowfall. Temperatures should stay above freezing across a good portion of the Panhandle, in fact, even near 40, Sitka down through Ketchikan. And then on Thursday afternoon, we may squeak out a couple of high temperatures around or just above 40 degrees along the Alcan border at Northway and Eagle. Otherwise, warmest temperatures for Friday, or rather Thursday, will be here across the Panhandle, 40s and a few lower 50s possible, including maybe Wrangell up through Ketchikan and Klawock. And then on the west side of the state, again, despite that cold air sitting here, it's going to begin to head south Thursday night and certainly Friday. High temperatures, once again, may only be in the single digits above zero there along the coastal areas of the Seward Peninsula and Chukchi Sea. Lows again Friday morning could be below zero across much of the Seward Peninsula along the Chukchi Sea coast, and even extending down in here areas around Norton Sound, including Imanak at 3 below. And then by the time we get into Friday afternoon, temperatures will be a little cooler in the Panhandle. generally only in the upper 30s to maybe middle 40s. We could still see 42, 43 up there at Eagle, but otherwise areas of South Central will have to struggle if you can get some breaks in the clouds or at least a little let up in any precipitation. Could possibly rebound up near 40 like at Palmer or up there around Talkeetna, but still temperatures Shishmaref and Wales only about 6 above. And the colder air Friday afternoon will begin plunging south across the central Bering, working its way toward the Aleutians for later Friday night and Saturday morning. So here is the way temperatures are shaping up mid-month and just beyond. This is the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook provided by the Climate Prediction Center of the National Weather Service. Greatest likelihood for below normal temperatures will be along the west coast, eastern Bering. This has been very persistent. Also, there may be a little cooler than normal temperatures in the Panhandle just due to cloud cover and precipitation. The only spot that may see temperatures average a bit above normal could be the northeast corner of the mainland. That would include the Yukon Flats up there through Arctic Village and Kaktovik. Precipitation-wise, though, when you have that kind of setup, it implies we're still going to have low pressures somehow coming up out of the North Pacific, either along the Aleutians or up into the Gulf. So you're going to have that southeast southerly low-level flow pulling moisture in across the Panhandle, and that extends up into South Central, over the Alaska Range, through the central interior, over the Brooks Range, all the way up along the Beaufort Sea coast. So I really don't see any real changes to this pattern we've been in coming up here for the next 6 to 10 days, taking us beyond mid-April.